Hello again. I'm at the end of week 4 of bar prep, and while I am stressed, my attitude is not showing it, which is maybe a win. I don't know. I have tried to record this video about 5 or 6 different times. I tried yesterday, I tried today, and each time I end up going over 15 minutes, and I think that that's just way too long for a midweek update. So obviously I just need to talk, and I just need to express myself, and I just need to be able to feel what I'm feeling. And if I spend all my day doing that, then I'm never going to study, which is sort of what's happening today. Is I haven't done a whole lot of studying today, and I really need to regroup, reprioritize, and make sure that I'm spending my time in the right places. I'm going to warn you right now that my kitten is sitting on my windowsill, so if she jumps down and tries to run in front of me or run over the keyboard, which she has been known to do, and she's looking at me as if I am speaking lies. So just be prepared for the amusement to follow. I have been trying to figure out how I wanted to talk about the substantive areas of law that we are studying in the bar exam, and the topics that I feel really confident about and the topics I don't feel so confident about. And the easiest way is just to kind of run through them very, very quickly without a whole lot of detail about each of the substantive areas. The topics I feel good about so far: agency and partnership, property, criminal law, sleep, and conflicts of law. I am, for the most part, feeling very confident, especially about agency and partnerships. I did a really great essay yesterday in partnerships. I really feel like I would have gotten a above average number of points on that, and which is, by the way, what I'm sort of aiming for with essays. I want to talk about essays in just a second. Property, I'm seeing some significant improvement. And just to give you an idea, during the Barbary preview week on property, I got 28%. Right now, I'm holding steady at about 54%. Still not passing. Yeah, I still wouldn't pass the bar exam with that. But that is actually double what I did when I took the bar exam. So if I had improved my performance on property alone, I probably would have passed the bar exam. So that is really great news for me, and I don't want to rely just on that improvement in property. There are still some significant parts of property that I'm not understanding or connecting with. The other one I'm feeling really good about, I feel really good about criminal law, and I think I can't even tell you why. I do feel confident about criminal law. I did well in it in law school, but so did I did well in torts. I did well in evidence, and those I'm not feeling so great about. So criminal law right now also is one of those things that I feel very confident and secure about, at least for the MBE portion, not as much for the essay portion. Conflicts of law, I think the outlines, I think the videos all make it much more complex than it really is. I understand conflicts of law procedures a little bit better, and I can't even tell you why. I've never really ever had to work with them. It's not like I have worked with anybody out of state or even had to apply it, but I do understand it. The language makes sense to me, and I think they make a bigger deal out of it than they need to. It's just a matter of applying the law. Or, well, we could say that about anything. Conflicts is more of a matter for me of just memorizing the different tests, and then I'm done. It's done. So I don't have to go into as much detail about it, or I don't feel like I have to go into as much detail about it as I would for other areas of the law. Where I'm not feeling good is contracts, torts, criminal procedure, commercial paper, evidence, trusts, and wills. And contracts, let's just take that one right away. Contracts, I did not do well in it in law school. I did do really, really well in practice. I used to analyze contracts every single day. But as some lecturers, that's what I meant, are very fond of saying, bar exam law is not necessarily real law. So what you would agree to in a contract, what you would draft into a contract, might be very, very different than what you will have to work with on the actual bar exam. I spent most of my time drafting indemnification clauses. That was the biggest deal for who I was working with. So working with other terms in terms of third-party beneficiaries, whatnot, is not as intuitive for me. So I have a lot of work I have to redo on that. Although contracts, if I'm doing 52%, 53% in property, contracts I'm at a 56%, 58%, which that's pretty good. But I don't feel confident about it, which is probably the biggest difference. Torts, same thing. Torts, I actually did really well in torts in law school. I was talking to a friend today that we both absolutely loved this torts professor. He was amazing, and he was so entertaining. And torts are entertaining questions, just like criminal law questions are. But the duty of care is where I'm getting really tripped up. So I need to spend a lot more time on that before I feel confident about torts. Criminal procedure, same thing. I didn't do badly in it in law school. I didn't do well, but I didn't do badly. But I don't deal with criminal procedure on a given day. And so we're getting into the territory where if I've never had to work with it, if I have a mental block about it, it's not sticking. So criminal procedure is one of those things that is not sticking because I've always had this sort of block that, hey, I'm never going to be a defense attorney, so I'm never going to really think about this. I'm never going to be working for the prosecutor, so I'm never going to be thinking about this. It's not that it's not relevant, and it's not that I've never, ever seen it or anything like that. It's just I put this block in my head that I don't need to worry about it. Commercial paper, much the same thing. Commercial paper, whenever I hear the word commercial, my brain shuts off. And whenever I hear the word business, my brain shuts off. Now, commercial paper, something that each of us deals with on a daily basis. Wrote a check today to my son's guitar teacher. I got a copy of my promissory note for one of my student loans. Those are all commercial paper. So I need to remember that these, that instead of blowing it off like these aren't my people, I need to actually remember that, these are my people. This is just as much real life as it is anything else that's on the bar exam. Although, again, we don't see the things that happen behind the curtain at our bank as to how something gets dishonored. We just know that whoever we paid the money to didn't get paid. So I need to be okay with opening up that curtain and seeing what happens in the commercial transactions. Evidence, I'm not feeling good about either. And like I said, I had a wonderful professor for evidence. I did decently in that class. But because I have never wanted to be a trial attorney, I've never wanted to practice in that way, I have a mental block about evidence. I have a mental block about evidence too because when I was in law school and I was representing kids in court, we went through lots of mock trials that we did just in our little program. And I always got cross-examinations wrong because I just want people to talk. I just want them to share. Maybe I should have been a therapist instead. Who knows? All I know is that evidence is not sticking with me. And I did an essay this week and I felt horribly about it because I misidentified all the issues. And so, of course, on the bar exam, and this leads into my next topic, on the bar exam, when you are doing your essays, when you are doing your questions, I don't know if other people experience it the same way, but I certainly experience it this way. When I make a mistake, if I'm not beating myself up for it, then I am going through this thought in my head of, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to identify any of the issues. I'm only going to get 0 points on that on that question. And when I took the bar exam last time, I knew nothing about secure transactions. That was the only question that I got 0 points on, was one question. I knew something about everything. So one of the pieces of advice that I have about the essays is, while I am aiming to have above average scores, I want to aim above average. So if there were 12 possible points and the average was 5, I want to be able to get 7. And then I'll feel a little bit safer. But when you make mistakes on your essays, I think one of two things happens. That our brains go straight to the, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to pass the bar exam because I'm never going to get any points. You know something about everything. You know something about commercial paper. You know something about secure transactions. You know something about property. So put at least what you know. Who knows? Maybe if you even identify the right topic, they'll give you some points for it. I know that there's a much richer science to it than that, but that's what I need to tell myself in order to continue using the essays, because one of the reasons why I think using the essays is the biggest change that I've made since the last time I took the bar exam is that when I use the essays like I did in my partnership essay yesterday, and I am then able to kind of reach in with both hands and really pull out all the meat and understand and use and apply in a very practical way each of these concepts that I'm learning. I don't know if I'm going to be able to test on every single topic and every single subject, but I can become at least familiar enough with the language that it starts to feel a little bit more natural to me, and I think that should be my aim. That is what I'm making my aim. In the meantime, there's a lot of stress going on under the surface, lots of work stress, lots of family stress. If you don't need to work during the bar exam, please don't. I'm volunteering. I'm bringing this on myself. So if I encounter a problem with any of my mediation cases, that's on me because I volunteered for that. I am trying to make it through without having to actually take a job or anything like that. So my sympathy goes out to the people who are trying to study and trying to work at the same time. My sympathy likewise goes out to anyone who is going through family drama at the same time. As many of you know, if you've been watching this, my brother passed away the day before bar exam prep started, and that has been weighing very heavily on me. I think I mention it pretty much every single video. But inevitably, when a family member dies, there is conflict and there is stress because everyone is grieving. I mean, everyone's grieving in a different way and needs to feel that in a different way. So inevitably conflict arises because of that. Oh, you get to enjoy the UPS guy. It's the same UPS guy that comes every single day. Don't know why. So my heart goes out to those of you who are experiencing any sort of family stress, any type of work stress, because this process is hard enough on its own. So the last thing I want to talk about, which may work a little bit with the work and the family stress. I mean, obviously, good boundaries are a really wonderful thing to have, but it's really hard to do when you have kids that are fighting with each other over a video game, or family members that are trying to get you to take sides, or God forbid work members, co-workers who are trying to make you take sides. So I did find a lovely little book the other day because I have been trying to incorporate yoga, been trying to incorporate sort of a good mind-body connection with my bar exam studying. And so one of the most disappointing things has been trying and looking for a meditation related just to the bar exam. It's impossible. I won't say it's impossible. I'm sure someone smarter than me can find that. But I wasn't able to find anything. I was able to find stuff for tests, but none of it really understood or addressed any of the scale with which the bar exam is. So I found this lovely little book, which I don't know if you can see it on here, called The Bar Exam Mind. Whoops, there we go. That's probably better. A strategy guide for an anxiety-free bar exam, Matt Racine. There's a lot of books out there And this one is short enough, and it has a 21-day plan for how you go through the bar exam, how, what kind of exercises you can do for visualization, for nutrition, for whatever's going to help support your body and your mind to work together in conjunction with each other. For the bar exam, anxiety is a huge problem for me, and a huge stress is very difficult for me to manage. So the more that I can support myself in managing that stress, the better. There are other people who are much better at it than me who, that is not going to work as well for them. But if you are an emotional person like me, or not even an emotional person, but someone who is becoming emotional because of the bar exam, I think what I've been reading in that book so far is very common sense, very easy, very doable things that won't make you feel like you're having to take an hour and a half out of your day in order to do this. So that is what I was looking for. I will report back on how well that particular resource is working out for me. But I think the more that you can surround yourself with the right advice for you, the better. So I, again, support your bar examinees, help them de-stress a little bit, let them indulge a little bit. I did indulge in some sushi and a wonderful lunch with a very inspirational figure today. So those were my indulgences this week, and I am feeling much more like myself, and I'm a little bit better able to sleep. So here we are, sort of at the halfway point. I'll report back to you soon.